This episode is brought to you by the Ultimate Girls Trip. Here is our reoccurring daydream. Us at a drool-worthy pool, surrounded by our business besties. We just finished a powerful exercise on building our dream lives and executing our business goals. Join us if you are ready to be celebrated for taking up space, to feel purposeful, and to live a life of fulfillment. Go to proofitspossible.com for more info. Welcome to Proof It's Possible. Jamie and I are multifaceted entrepreneurs, the founders of the Ultimate Girls Trip, and the hosts of Proof It's Possible. Jamie and I are also sisters, best friends, and complete opposites, but somehow we always manage to stay on the same team. Join us every week to hear our thoughts on all things entrepreneurship, friendship, family, pop culture, and more.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back. I hope everyone had an amazing Christmas. We had an action-packed but amazing Christmas. It was so fun to have everybody around and to do all the things, skiing and parties and skating, cousin time and sister time. So we're feeling really grateful to be back and for looking forward to 2025. And today we are going to chat about the things that we avoided in 2024 and why we're not going to do that in 2025. So kick it off, Dale.
Well, I just feel like the work we're avoiding is where our next level lives. So for me, there's a couple things that like the last half of the year, I had like big goals last year, and not that I didn't get them started and not that I wasn't like working on stuff, but I would get stuck on something because I was avoiding. And for me, what I was avoiding in this new project of mine is I was avoiding learning something new because honestly, I hate that. Like I like being good at what I do, and I don't love being the new guy, the new girl. I don't want to have to go deep and spend hours and hours and hours learning something new. That's just not my favorite thing. And
Yeah, for
so,
me, it's not even the I hate not being good at it. I hate the time it
yes,
takes and the trial and error that it takes.
exactly.
I just don't have time for that in my life.
Same. And it feels like it's taking me away from the important things that I do make money from and that feel like they have deadlines. And this doesn't, because it's just my dream and it doesn't have a firm deadline. It doesn't have to be done on this date. Whereas like client projects and, if the contractor's waiting at somebody's house, I know I have to give them all the final selections. So those have like deadlines that I operate very well on, and this is just a floater that has a whole bunch of new learning attached to it. And like truth be told, that's why I didn't really like college. I loved college for the like socializing of it, but the homework piece, oh, it's the worst. So I'm like, you're avoiding this and you get stagnant, and like I get stagnant because I don't want to dive in and give the time to learn that. So is there anything that you feel like you avoided last year, or like,
Oh, I avoided like changing accounting systems because
yeah.
I don't want to climb that mountain. I don't have the time to climb it. I don't want to climb it.
Mhm.
And yeah, so that would be just, I avoid change in any
Yes,
capacity in my life though. Like
totally.
familiar feels good to me. So if it's like, I know how to use this software, I know how to do this, I know, then it feels like even if I complain about it and there's things I hate about it, I'm like, yeah, but the other stuff is like the unknown is really hard. I already know
Exactly.
that. It's really hard to learn it, so I already know that, and I'm already like feeling like I don't like it.
Mhm.
So that's just who I am naturally. That's one of the biggest things for me. Also asking for help, like,
Yes.
and it's not even that I'm don't want the help or that I'm like I can do it better. I believe there's lots of people that can do it better. I feel like the learning curve for somebody to learn what I do feels like too big of a mountain to climb. Like for me to have to train
Yeah.
somebody to do what I need them to do, I've avoided it. So I'm like, I'll just add more to my plate because I
Exactly.
don't want them to have to learn
Exactly.
something I don't want to have to train them to
Yeah.
learn all the new things. So those
For
are the
sure.
two like areas in my life where I'm like, I'm taking on too much.
Hmm.
Um, and I'm avoiding just like hiring it out or getting somebody else to do it and anything that feels really hard and like I don't know what I'm doing, I have avoided. And for me, that's like all of the accounting
Yeah,
systems that I work off.
exactly.
So
You
yeah.
well, and like the other thing is that so last year I hired a virtual assistant. And at the beginning, I was like, there's nothing I can even ask her to help with because nobody can do it because I can't teach them how to do it my way. And there's just too much to learn. Like I'm some kind of neurosurgeon that nobody else can make a social media post or something. Like I'm not that talented. So the fact that, but I was stuck and I wouldn't do it. But then finally I was like, you know what? I think I found the right person. She's excellent. She has great reviews. She seems like great. And I had one kind of task area that I felt like I was ready to truly pass. But I thought, I don't know how I'm going to meet all my hours with her because you buy like a package every month. And the first month didn't meet my hours because I'm like, this is impossible. I I just don't know how to give her more. What else could I give her? And then so the next month I like thought of I'm like, you know what I don't have time for is this. So I'm gonna ask her to do that too. So she did it and we like almost met our hours and I was like, oh, okay, that's really exciting. Well now, because that's half a year ago that when we started, now I'm like flexing that muscle so big that I'm like, okay, how can we like balance your schedule so that you can do more things for me? And like just yesterday, I passed off something to her that was just like a task that I haven't even been doing. I I felt like, well, one day when I get my shit together, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna make all these really good social media posts. So I had all this inspiration gathered and all these ideas and one day I was gonna do that. Well, guess who never did it? And guess who also didn't pass it off as a job for someone else to do when I'm paying somebody to do the jobs. And so yesterday I sent it over to her and was like, do you think you could fit this in to our, schedule or whatever? And she's like, yeah, of course. And I'm like, oh my God. Like the weight that lifted, she hasn't made any of the posts yet. She hasn't done any of the things yet. But just knowing that I have somebody else to help me with it, I'm like, why
Hmm.
didn't I do this on the first day? This has been lingering long past the first day of asking
I
her
also
to
feel
work with
like
me.
asking for help is such a slippery slope because
Oh,
once you get a taste of that
yes.
freedom, you just can't stop. Like I decided that like nobody can help me within my business, so therefore I'm gonna have somebody help me for the rest of my life, like all
Yeah.
the other areas of my life. And so I started slowly giving like asking the lady that helps clean my house to like do extra chores. Like I'm like, do you mind just like stripping all the beds and
Oh,
doing all
yeah.
the bedding for me? And she's like, yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
And then next thing you know, I'm like, it's Christmas, and as the mom, I'm pulled in way too many directions. So I'm just going to need her a little extra to organize the like, storage area because after we pulled out all the Christmas decorations, things got crazy in there. So I'm just going to hire her to do that. So then I hired her to do that. Next thing you know, she was here 5 days a week, like just doing the laundry
Well,
and
and
doing all the things.
if you're saying slippery slope, like as in the most magical, wonderful, right decision you've ever made, then I'm willing to use the term slippery slope. But to me,
Yeah.
this just feels like excellent time management, you know?
Yeah. I mean, if you want to help her full 5 days a week to just
I do. I do.
look
I
after
do.
the home.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. But now I'm in like a bit of a grieving process because I'm like, well, Christmas is over and
Yeah.
everything falls back
What
on
like
my
excuse? So maybe you need to stop telling yourself excuses about why you need the help and just jump into the fact that you have three busy kids, you run several businesses, you need help
Mhm.
in multiple ways more than you thought. You need
Mhm.
help
Mhm.
within your business, but you also need help within your home. And that's
Mhm.
actually allowed. Like I have people help me do lots of things. Like I can't change out the bedding in my beds. I don't have kids, but physically I can't. So it's not necessarily like as much of a time thing, but the joy it brings me. to have somebody help me do those tasks and feel like I'm like on top of my life. I have a girlfriend that has a business that organizes your drawers and your closets and whatever. I get her 4 times a year. I probably need her 8. I don't know why I can't stop making a mess of what she's done, but I
Mhm.
can't. And I get her back because I love it. It brings me joy. And my time, although with the like house organizing, I do have to sit there and help her, but she can do it 80% faster than I can do it.
Mhm.
80%. And she's so awesome that she'll like take away all my recycling, take away all my donations, take away everything. So it's not just like the physical work, because that's the thing. I used to be the queen of like clean out the closet, but then leave the 5 bags of
Oh,
donations for the
oh,
rest of my life in the
the
garage,
donation.
in the spare
Dale,
room.
we have a pile of donations
Hmm.
from October still sitting
Yeah.
in our garage. I had two organizations supposed to come pick it up, no showed,
Hmm.
and now it just sits and sits
Yeah.
forever. Just
Okay.
a
So we're going to stop making excuses for why we need help and just cut the ties and say that could be a great job. That like the next time the cleaning lady comes, would she like to have these donations? Would she like to take them to a charity of her choice? Would she like to drop them off
She's
at
already taken what she wanted, and this is what's left.
oh
I've
oh
already tried that.
okay, well, new parameters around taking. You take and
You
weed
take
out at your
all.
own house.
Yeah. So, anyways,
Yes.
that for me, I'm always avoiding getting extra help with the excuse that like I don't have the time to train, I don't have the
Hmm.
energy, no one can
Or
do it
maybe
as
you
good as
don't deserve
me.
it. Like, it's like you should be able to get all the laundry done. You should be able to keep the closets clean. You should be able to manage your children's summer to winter to fall to spring wardrobes,
The
which
worst
garment
house.
management alone for a family of like your sizes, I don't even know how you know what you have because the kids
I don't.
mangle and mix up and leave at friends' houses and
Mm-hmm.
forget their ski gear at grandma and grandpa, like wherever, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It's just such a moving part of your life, which you don't think would like affect your business. But when you're bogged down by like life stuff, which we all are, nobody's life has nothing else to do but their business. Everybody has to manage both. Um, that's exhausting. Like that is not you being your highest vibe. You're the CEO, Jamie, heads in the
Mm-hmm.
game. You know, if we're like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, I forgot to arrange for, I never put in the load. I got to flip the load of laundry between, like that takes away from it. So I'm trying, and I know you love this word, and it's like basically your religion, um, to audit my life
Right.
because I'm trying to listen so much to my like, how did my body feel when I have to make a social
Mm-hmm.
media post versus getting to design something? Well, the light up factor are entirely different. Like when I have
Mm-hmm.
a new brand discovery from a new client and I'm starting with a blank page and I get to design their website, I literally have like endorphins flowing. I'm
Mm-hmm.
happy, I'm excited, I'm listening to music, I'm creating something. And then they say, like someone says, well, you're not making enough content about your business. And I'm like, okay, what do I do for my business? How would you make content about that? Like, and I don't have hard to make content businesses. Interior
Well,
design is enjoyable.
and this is timely because we're talking about things we're avoiding, and like
Hmm.
for a full decade now, I've just avoided making social media posts, and
Oh,
I've
I'm
been
no, I
called out
haven't.
on it hundreds of times.
Hmm.
Hundreds of times. And I have such an aversion.
Hmm.
And it's not even the like, oh, you don't like to be in front of camera. Don't care about that. It's
Nope.
the like time. Everything boils down to like the time commitment and not knowing what I'm doing. So like when reels were brand new, I'm like, I don't know how to build a reel. And so I would try and it would take me 3 hours. And I was like, you know what? I'm not wasting another 3 hours doing that. So
Exactly.
I have one reel from 2017 and that's probably where it'll end.
Exactly. Exactly. And truthfully, you know what else is interesting is I also have a hard time stepping out of my business and being able to articulate what is it that I do? What does an ultimate girls trip look like? like every girl that's come on Ultimate Girls Trip has been like magical. Best 3 days of my life. Everything I needed
Yes.
in the moment because I know how to execute the things I'm doing. Same with people's websites. They love them. They're happy. People's homes, they love them. They're happy. But when someone's like, "So what would do I need to know about the process of like website?" I'm like, "I don't know. I'm going to make you a website." Okay? So you just go to your house and I'll be at my desk and like you don't worry about that until
Yeah.
I have draft one and then we'll talk about it and then like you can tell me the things you don't like and I'm super open to hearing them. But like how to sell it at
It's
people's pain
marketing. It's
points,
marketing. Like
marketing. And so
marketing is what I avoid.
I avoid marketing. I don't like marketing. I like when
I'm a
someone
behind
sees
the
someone
scenes
else's
girl.
website and is like, I want that too. And I'm like, perfect, I'll make that for you,
Hmm.
but special. And then we're done. That's the whole
Hmm.
process that I like. And it doesn't always work like that. And business and it needs marketing. And I hate it.
I
But
know. I
this
know.
year,
But that's the whole thing. It's like if you're not good at marketing, it gives you a bellyache every time you have to like even talk
yeah,
about the subject. Hire it out.
figure
Stop
it out.
writing about it. Hire it out. Hire
Exactly.
it out. But we
And like
don't.
yesterday I had the high of passing the task after hiring it out. And I went to bed like floating on a cloud. Like so light and fluffy. Like it was
How
so
I,
good that
that's
I
exactly how I felt the week before Christmas when I just had the housekeeper here 5 days a
yeah.
week, just like
You're
doing
like, I'm
errands for
doing
me.
life right. I'm doing
Uh-huh.
life well. I'm
Hmm.
hitting all the things. And I'm somebody that loves that. Like, I love when my house is clean. I'm somewhat caught up on work if there's such a thing. But, like, I feel like accomplished in
Yeah.
all my, like I haven't left emails for a week and not got back to them, or I haven't just undone things. And then on top of my house being clean, my work stuff being somewhat like in process, sorted, on the move. Um, I love when on top of all that, like my beauty routine, I just got my hair done, my nails are done. I had a pedicure kind of recently, so like if someone saw my foot, I wouldn't be humiliated. Like I'm
Hmm.
taking care of all the parts of life. I feel really good.
Hmm.
And
Same.
that is something that like you can't do all that stuff and run the business at
Hmm.
your best capacity and be used in your business to make more money, to generate different and new streams of income,
Hmm.
to and like one thing that I don't know why I'm so scared of it, but when I do hire something out, it initially costs money, and that is also something that I avoid, is like spending money on things that I feel like I should or could be able to do myself.
Hmm.
And like it's an avoidance because it's a bad money story that I've told myself. But I know that every single time something gets taken off my plate that doesn't actually directly make me money, opens up a whole bunch of hours in my week to actually go make myself money. And then
Hmm.
that's what I do with
Absolutely.
that time. And so, guess what? The person's bill is always paid for. Or if it's not immediately paid for, within like 3 months, I've gotten into a new routine where it starts paying for itself plus something plus more, and as the snowball gets bigger, I'm like, can you imagine that I was still doing that one thing that used to take me 5 hours a week or 6 hours a
Hmm.
week or whatever it was, that literally drained me like I had worked 40 hours just on that. Because like that 3 hour reel that you were talking about
Hmm.
feels like a 15-hour reel. And if you have three of those a week, your week's full. You're busy. You did everything you had time for.
Absolutely. You know where I think a lot of people struggle though is that they say, and I'm so guilty of this, if I had more time, it wouldn't naturally mean more clients. The work is the
Right.
work. I don't go get new clients. That's not my role in my businesses
Right.
at all. So it's not like, well, if I had free time all of a sudden immediately I'd be able to take on new clients. Nope, that's not true. So people don't see like, well, if I hired this out, there's not an immediate connection
Totally.
to making more money.
Right.
But I think where people forget is that you also don't have any mental capacity to like dream. You don't have any mental capacity to like figure out where you need
Plan.
to pivot. You
Hmm.
don't get to have like an overview of your business because you don't have any time to think about this or look at it to be like, what was great this year? What wasn't great? What service line provided me tons of money? What didn't? What,
Yep.
like you don't have time to do anything extra, including think about how you could grow your business.
Right. Exactly.
So even if there isn't like a direct tie from more time equals more money, you don't even have you can't even get the ball rolling on making more money because you don't even have time to think about how to make more money. So
Exactly.
it is money making in that it frees up time to do other things. And it's very hard to justify that in your mind, especially in the early stages of your business when your business might not
Doesn't
be
make money yet.
making tons
Right.
of money just yet.
Well, and another area, kind of jumping just because I want to like kind of give all of mine, but another area where I need to stop avoiding is thinking that I have more time to get back to my healthy eating or my healthy, like my workout or my drinking water or those things later. I'll next week, next month, I
Mm-hmm.
don't need to be really concerned with that right now because I have other things going on. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put my health and my whatever off because this one task is more important today. So for me,
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of twofold. It's like I've just cleanly avoided, especially over the holidays, eating right.
Oh,
Just avoided
didn't
it.
we
Didn't
all?
we all? Blah, blah. Nobody wants to hear about it. Whatever. But so it's actually doing that thing is what I'm avoiding, which is the eating healthy, the making sure I get on my bike or swim or do whatever I'm able to do physically. But it's also the lie that you can just start next week. You can just start next week. Because guess
Mm-hmm.
what you're not going to do? You're not going to start next week unless you're motivated by something. So find out what that motivation is and get to it.
Well,
Like
for me, the motivation is always booking a trip. So
same,
that's
same, same.
not sound advice,
Exactly.
not great advice.
I think it's brilliant advice. It's kind of like saying a slippery slope is to hire somebody to help. It's wonderful.
Go ahead and book the trip. That'll definitely get you eating right.
Yes, exactly. And that's something that like, you know, we're early in the year and I'm been booking trips because I do want a good work-life balance this year. So I'm avoiding also over scheduling myself for work stuff where I'm like, well,
Mm-hmm.
no, I just got to be at my desk a lot. I got to be at my desk. I have to stay home. I have to stay home. I'm like wanting to have experiences as well
Mm-hmm.
as
I think our
fun
next episode,
things.
maybe we should save that for our next episode where we
Sure.
talk about what our like goals for 2025 in particular
Okay.
are. Okay.
Well, and like we just talked about last week on our episode, was that like I'm very much a planner. So I'm the kind of person that I don't do a lot of executing in January and February. I do a lot of planning, thinking, dreaming, writing down, setting the stage for what's to come. And obviously opportunities come up and I'm still working all these months, but I am, for whatever reason, in the spring, that's go time. That's when March
Mhm.
hits, I'm ready to get out into the world and execute on all of this planning.
Yeah.
And I don't, you know, and I'm not saying that I don't start healthy eating after the holidays because that's just like critical for my happiness to get back to normal life, like
Hmm.
normal calorie counts every day because I don't feel good if I'm eating the Christmas food. Um, but the big overall, what is this year going to be about goals start in March. So
Yeah. Oh,
let's,
yeah. Me too.
yeah, next week, that's what we're chatting about.
Okay.
Awesome.
Well, thank.
All right. Whatever you're avoiding, stop it. That's my advice.
Mhm.
And get real and be honest with yourself. What are you avoiding?
And if you need to
There,
hire somebody, hire them.
yeah. Have the hard conversation, make the change, commit to yourself.
Hmm.
Whatever it looks like, stop it and
Hmm.
get moving. Have a great day, you guys.
Bye, guys.
We are so grateful you're here.
It would mean the world to us if you'll subscribe to our podcast and YouTube channel and leave us a review.
If you want to hear more from us, go to proofitspossible.com to join our mailing list and find our social links so you don't miss a thing.
Thanks and chat next time.